Daddy. If you like what you see, comment and subscribe.
Sipping on a 40. Yo, I know it's been a minute, huh? Homie, I'm back. Yeah.
Hi, Daddy.
Welcome to another episode of Mr. Dad. We are now entering the 40s. I'm not 40 yet. But episode 41 of the Mr. Dad podcast. This
sounded like age for a second.
Yeah, I know.
We're not that old yet. Not yet. Yeah.
It's been crazy. One of the topics that's going on in the nation today is something that I guess hits home for both of us because we're both African American males, and I did want to take a moment to just I guess address a couple of issues, but I didn't want to dive in too much because I do like to keep this show about kids. So the first question that I just want to ask to the audience, anyone watching, is what's your greatest fear for your kids? And as you think about that, I want you to sit back and digest the things that we're speaking about today as if your kids were involved in it, because that's basically our reality.
Right.
So, I always said I never wanted to preach, and I never wanted it to be about anything that is popular at the moment, and I didn't want it, and I never wanted to be about anything that will tarnish anyone as a parent. But as a parent, we all have to go through our greatest fears when it comes to our kids.
Yeah.
And because we grew up a certain way and we know what our kids are headed for, we have to have those conversations. So, now that you've probably processed that in your head, I'm going to tell you my biggest fear. Death. Death is my biggest fear for my child.
Like before you or?
Before me. Before me. And there's been certain times where I felt like I would probably die before my parent. Mm-hmm. And I came out of it without any death.
Right.
What about you?
I would say that too. I mean, I have a real vivid imagination. By the way, I'm black. Y'all probably know me from like the previous 1,000 episodes I've been on with them. Yeah, there's no need for introduction. Y'all already know me and shit. Uh-huh. But I would say for me, I just have a vivid imagination, and I hate it about myself, but I always picture the worst possible scenario whenever I'm out and about. So whether we're driving or whether I'm walking somewhere with my kids, like whether it's whatever the obstacle may be, I can picture it, and I hate that. Yeah. So it definitely is death, and I have such a vivid imagination. I try to keep it positive, but since I'm a protector, I have to imagine all the worst possible scenarios. But yeah, I'm with you, death.
So, of course, we've had a lifelong journey at this point. I'm 35 today, and my dad died in 2008. And in those times, he used to tell me about things he used to deal with the police and why he didn't trust them and things like that. Yeah. And he used to speak to me about the woman that you're with, and how she can shield you and stop you from doing certain things, and kind of tweak your mind, because sometimes we just go extreme and when we're feeling something. If I feel a certain way about, for instance, the rallies and protests that are happening, and I want to jump out, and I want to be aggressive,
right,
and I want to just go out and get into it. If your woman is good,
yeah,
she'll shield you from that and rear you back in.
Right.
Because right now, I always think that things should be thought out.
Yeah. But sometimes we tend to act emotional and kind of like just go. Sometimes you got a level-headed woman, but that's perspectives, because some people would probably be like, if you got a dope woman, she gonna be ready to ride out there with you. Like, I don't know. It's perspectives. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I'm with you on that.
It was a life lesson for me. My brother followed up with that when my dad was talking. He told me a long time ago that you never want to put your woman in those predicaments. So the fact that she'll ride for you, you're happy about that. That's something that's supposed to be something that you smile at, but you don't want to put her in harm's way because you're supposed to protect her.
Right. So you should be thinking logical for the both of you, or whatnot.
And you know, most women, they'll rile you up. Like the ones that rile you up, it kind of, you know, will probably get you killed and run at the same time. And that, just from my personal experience. Yeah. But what I was getting to is that the black woman has always been a shield for the black man in most cases. Strong black women have always been on the front line to help you out and to help you through things. And I point at my mom and my grandmother. And I remember one time I was in the house with my grandma, and me and Lynn was running the streets, and she pulled us in one day. She had a really long conversation with us about OGs and how they have you doing stupid things, but you're not. They prey on you as you're young, so they can manipulate your mind, and you can do things for them.
You're impressionable, right?
But what you're doing may jeopardize the rest of your life. And that's Granny pulling me in, seeing what I'm doing is wrong, and just looking out for me.
It's stuck with you.
So the black woman's shield has always been something great, and I just thought it was important to touch on that. I wrote that down, and I was like, yeah, this is probably good to talk about.
I agree, because, I mean, originally I called you a few days ago, and I was fired up. I was about to get ready to go ham, and I was going to say some things. But I'm going to share those thoughts with those close circles I have about some of the things that are going on and whatnot. But, yeah, conversations with multiple people, men and women. It's like, yeah, but Dale, you got to remember, like, if you say this may result in that, this, that, and the third. So, you know, make sure that you use your voice responsibly. And, yeah, that's the biggest advice that I was given recently by multiple black women, actually. So, yeah.
And okay, so the way that you felt, do you feel like it had a lot to do with your experiences growing up with the police?
What do you mean? Like,
the anger inside of you that made you feel like you wanted to explode and lash out.
Yeah, big time. I mean, I could touch on like just experiences that me and you had just hanging together where we've been pulled over all the time, like when I was kicking it at your house and the cops came because of whatever reason. You probably better off telling the story when they came to the house. And
so it was 2000. I want to say 2. Maybe?
Yeah, about
2002.
About 2000. Yeah. 2001 is right before I moved to Long Beach.
Yeah, so it was right before I went to 11th grade. And one of the younger ladies that lived in an apartment with me, she was a teenager as well, was acting defiant as we do as teenagers. And her auntie snatched her up and brought her back home.
Right.
But the neighbors thought that she was being kidnapped. Because she was yelling when she got to the house, screaming, "No, let me go!" All this other stuff. So the neighbors called the police, saying that it was a kidnapping.
A kidnapping, right.
But she was really just taking her in the house.
Taking her daughter in the house, keeping her out the street.
Right. And the police show up. And I remember we used to always sneak to my house. My mom wasn't home.
Yeah.
And we're joking around in the house. We're having a good old time. Getting ready to play video games. We stopped by the store, got snacks and everything, and then all of a sudden, there's a knock. And I don't know why you opened the door.
No idea. I think I probably thought it was like Jason or somebody coming from the back to come in, join the festivities or whatnot. And then, go ahead.
So he opens the door, and there's a gun in his face. And they pull you out. Then they come in. They pull Ali out.
Yeah, right.
Then they come to me, and they pull me out. Yeah. And we're all sitting there. We're teenagers at this point, and we are expected to stay calm why guns
and
are posted in our
helicopter
face.
floating around, all that,
Stay calm. Listen to every command that they're telling you why there are guns in your face.
Right. And I thank God that we created this sort of fantasy world that we were living in back then where we just didn't take anything too serious.
Yeah.
We didn't take the gangbangers in the city too serious. We didn't take the police. We didn't take nothing too serious. So we were able to kind of like just kind of laugh about the situation. But we had another homie who was there who actually kind of got at me and was like, why the fuck is y'all laughing? Like, you know, he's kind of like crying in frustration. And he's like, why are y'all laughing? And I think, I don't know, it's something about growing up in these type of conditions where you kind of just get numb. And it just becomes like this can't be serious. Because you expect officers to be there to serve and protect. So maybe I was laughing and not taking it serious because I'm like, well, they can't shoot me because I haven't done anything wrong.
Right.
Or maybe I was just you know, you get loopy because you know, you get desensitized in a weird way. So I don't know.
Yeah, and those are the type of conversations that, going back to the kids, is that we're going to have with them.
Yeah.
Hey,
yeah,
a cop may come at you aggressively with a gun in your face, and your only job is to come back home alive. Yeah. So remain calm, even when it seems like it's not possible.
Right.
Because what it seems to be, and it's just from my experiences, is that the aggression is always first when it comes to African American males.
Yeah.
Because I've been with Drew, where the police would stop us, and it would be a whole different conversation.
Oh wow, yeah.
Where he would jump out and be like, hey dude, we didn't know we were trying to go party.
Wait, Drew would jump out of the car?
No, like the officers jump out and he addresses them for
I want to say, shit, anytime, I mean, that's a luxury to be able to get out the car before the cop even get out the car. Like, wow.
Exactly. And then even that time we got pulled over in Harbor City. And I was telling you, like, when they were coming by, and you could I just knew. I was like, yo, they're going to pull us over. And you were like, nah, they're probably not. They're not worried about us. And then he hits the U-turn, and I just pull over. And,
fuck it.
Yeah, and, like, I know you're coming. You know what I'm saying?
I find it so funny that cops find that you're being a smart ass for being prepared for their racial profiling going on. Anyway.
Yeah, he was so like, yo, why'd you pull over? Like, dude,
we know the drill.
Past, you hit a U-turn hard, and then you sped up on us. Like, I know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, here's my stuff.
Yeah, I'm ready. Already ready.
He turned out to be cool. Yeah. I do have to give it to that officer because he turned out to be cool. Because remember, my license was like, it was suspended.
Oh, it was?
Remember, he was like, he told us you had to drive.
Oh, I think I remember this time now. Yeah. Okay. Now, all right.
You jumped in the driver's seat laughing like, I get to drive.
Was this your Monte Carlo?
Yeah, it's my Monte Carlo.
See, Monte Carlo, I think, the colors, wearing hats, it's easy.
He said we had wife beaters on. And he was like, yeah, we just need to know who we're dealing with in these neighborhoods. And I was like, dude, you're dealing with two black guys trying to go to the grocery store right now. I don't know what you want here, but... something. So, with the conversation that you have with your kids, when it comes to dealing with the police officers, are you? Because Monty used to have this passive aggressive thing where she was like, give them your ID and then this paralegal card.
Yeah, like you know your stuff.
Yeah, like, hey, here you go. This is all my stuff. I'm not gonna, but there's a card. But I always thought that was a smart thing. I felt like they would look at it and be like, fuck you. So go beat you at the Billy Club.
Right. I feel like, in all honesty, I don't even know if there's a proper way. It depends on who you're dealing with and how their day is going. See, some of the things that I was going to address earlier when I called you this week was like, their psychiatric levels. Like, where their psych tests, how they're being evaluated. Because we don't know who we're dealing with now.
Right.
We don't know who's pulling us over. We don't know if homeboy's going through issues with his wife or his kids at home, or if it was some black man who just gave him issues earlier that day, we don't know what we're dealing with. So you sometimes taking that, like, I know my rights, I know I didn't do anything wrong, this type of approach, sometimes taking the submissive, it's really no way of telling how that day and that night may end up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got a homegirl. She was on the freeway one day. And the 405, and she likes to be in the carpool lane, even when she's by herself. And she was caught, but she knew, like, you know, she takes that risk all the time. She's telling me before she took the risk, and she was like, when she pulled over, she knew she was like, hey, I know I'm wrong. Here's my stuff. Can you please give me my ticket so I can go to work? Yeah. Cop lost it. Pull her out of her car, yanks her, slams her against the door, handcuffs her, tell her that, oh, you think you just break the law, all this other stuff, puts her in the back seat, sits her there. She's like crying. He's like, don't quit your whining. You shouldn't have broke the law. All that to then just let her out the car and then give her the ticket anyway. And it was like, I'm going to show you.
Yeah, it's a mental thing.
Huh? Yeah. Regardless, like, you know, like, dude, just do your job and give me the ticket.
Right.
All the extras that you have to do. Why?
Unnecessary.
What's the point? I know I'm wrong. If I know I'm wrong, and I'm telling you I know I'm wrong,
I'll deal with my consequences. Can I just have my ticket,
please, so I can get to work? And you take that as some type of, like, and it's a narcissistic way to look at it, because it's narcissism. You take that as some type of, like, stab or jab at your ego.
Right, because it's supposed to be an intimidation factor there. You're supposed to act scared and bow down and be submissive to a person who's like that, who's overly aggressive. And so when it comes to my kids, I mean, you know, I haven't even prepared that talk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had someone tell me, multiple people say, well, if you stay out of the trouble and you stay out of the eyes of the law or whatnot, you don't have anything to worry about. But that's not true. Right. It's almost like I thank God for all of my encounters with the officers that I've been encountered with, like the good and the bad. So I could take all those different experiences and then one day try to explain. Like, yo, if you're going to wear a hoodie, let me tell you, this is what may happen. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if you're gonna be with your friends, you know, like, you might want to, like, keep it light and keep it, you know what I'm saying, and don't get tense and certain things that me and you maybe had to encounter. So it's all of these different things that we experience. We can only try to talk to our kids and pass down the knowledge and hope they're not dealing with an asshole for the day. You know? Because
it's one wrong move and it's over.
Yeah, I like that whole having your card, like, if you're getting pulled over, soon as the lights come on, like, it's really weird, because if you reach over and go into the glove department, then they might think you're pulling out something, and now they're coming with guns drew. But if but at the same time, it depends on the cop, because you can already have your stuff already out, and now your hands are visible with your ID, your driver registration. So it just really depends on who we're dealing with.
Exactly. So with that said, let's give Lynn a call. Yeah. I did want to bring him out to, cause man, there was a story back in the day. We went and we seen some girls. Seen some girls, and on our way back, they lived in downtown. On our way back to my granny house, I took Western. And he took Crenshaw, and he got pulled over. No, he took Western. I took Crenshaw. And he got pulled over, and the cops held him for 2 hours.
And did what?
Stole his money.
What? Okay, yeah. let me go ahead and call him. Maybe, that's crazy. Let me see if I...
But, so, you know, let's see if he picks
He's all the way in Georgia, so it's we won't disclose the time or whatnot, but...
Yeah, he probably looking at it like...
Yeah, like, wait, hold on, who's this? Let me see, I'm going to try it one more time. Let's see what's up.
Yeah, the back-to-backs.
Yeah.
It's always it.
Like, yo, like, nah, it's
Here we're like, hello?
You have reached
Oh, he got trust issues.
Yeah, he does.
Right,
I
cool.
feel it.
All right, well.
But I guess we got to save that story for another day.
Yeah. I'm not gonna put it on speaker because I don't like getting rejected. So
That's funny.
yeah. All right, yo. Well, yeah, y'all heard that third one. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
but that was one of the stories we was gonna get to, but it's all good.
Yeah, maybe next time.
Yeah. So, I did want to speak on the feelings that I had up to today, because there was a Memorial Day, then there was the day after, when all this shit like started to like escalate. It started to catch fire. First 2 days, I was sick, super duper like emotional about it.
Emotional as in angry, or
yeah,
emotional?
like mad anger though. Like it's like not even. It wasn't even funny. It felt like when Nipsey died, when Kobe died. It was something that like took over me, and I've never met that dude in my life, but I remember being in certain situations like that.
Yeah.
And I couldn't bottle up the anger that I had. And I couldn't rationalize it.
Right.
And when shit started to hit the fan, I was, for the first time, okay with it. Usually I am very judgy when it comes to riots, people looting, all that other stuff.
Right.
But in my mind, it became okay. Because I'm so tired of seeing us dead. I remember maybe 3-4 years back, maybe 2000, I want to say 14,
yeah,
where it felt like every other week there was somebody else dying.
Yeah.
And it was in our face.
Right.
And it infuriates me, because the fact that I can still relate to everything that's going on in my 35 years of life, that my mom could relate to,
right.
My grandma could attest to, my great grandma. Like, even when my great grandma came over here on a boat from Jamaica, it was the same thing for her. So, you know, when they're telling us all these different ways to protest, and this is the problem I have with the Martin Luther King method. We've been peaceful for so long. We did sit-ins, we got our ass beat.
Yeah.
We did marches, we got our ass beat. We put our hands up, don't shoot, we get shot.
Yeah.
There's nothing that we can do. There's no other form.
Right.
And I'm a firm believer in that. We have this conversation.
Yeah.
That no revolution has ever been won without violence.
Yeah. Unfortunately. That's the way it kind of goes down.
Right.
I'm with you. Okay, Lynn said he's ready. Okay. He didn't know it was me. He really, when I was a bill collector, like, yo, nobody want that X call. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Like, dude, I'm not answering anybody that. Yeah.
But I'll just touch on this real quick before we hit him up. Yeah, I mean, for hundreds of years, just trying different methods, and we were talking about being like super forgiving and all that other stuff, and trying. I honestly think in our hearts, and I think we teach it in our kids' heart, like, we brawl when our back is against the wall, but naturally violent people, I don't think that's in us. I feel like we do what we have to do when it becomes necessary.
Right.
And I feel like at this point, we've been at this like for what? I mean, at least since we've been alive, we've seen multiple. I mean, we could date back to the Rodney King, but now we're adults, so to be able to see the same type of energy or whatnot, because it's still the same injustices going on. I'll finish it like this, real quick. I just released a song called "We Here." Yeah, I actually wrote that song when Zion was 4. That's why in the second verse, I want to tell myself, well, walk. He's 4, whatever. And so he's 7 now. Yeah. So I wrote that about what was going on back then. Nothing is changing. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? I was able to just go and update 3 or 4 different lyrics, and it's the same song, because it's the same song that's happening in public, and it's just ridiculous. So, yeah, it's time for some different results, and a lot of people may not agree with it. They might not listen to The Color of Black, but they'll listen to The Color of Green. And a lot of this writing is going to cost a lot of green, so it's going to echo throughout the nation, I feel. But I don't know, man. I'm gonna go ahead and hit up Lynn real quick, man.
Get him in.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna put it on speaker because I don't think he's gonna tell me to call and then reject me.
Right.
If he does that again, it just goes in the video and this Lynn's just he's trolling me for that one. But yeah, let me see.
Right. That's funny.
What's up, Lynn? What's happening, man?
What's going on, man?
Nice.
All right, so I got a question for you. Remember when we left them girls' houses in downtown LA back in the day?
Okay.
And remember when we was driving in 2 different cars, right? And I took Crenshaw and you took Western?
Yeah.
Remember when you got pulled over?
I do remember that. They took like $100 from me. Yeah, go ahead.
They took 100? That's crazy.
So when remember when you was like they was throwing pills all over the place in your car?
What?
Yeah, they were shaking his pill bottles and throwing it all up.
Oh.
So remember when you got to Granny house, I was mad because I was sitting outside for like 2 hours. So walk us through that.
Well, to be honest, it was like they pulled me over, and I had about I had like $400 in actual bills in my wallet. But I had like pills in my car because I used to get migraines and shit at work. When they pulled me over, they had me get out, and I wasn't even speeding. I was like on some normal shit, cruising down Crenshaw, the normal shit. They pulled me over, and they held me there for so long. I was like, bro, what did I do? And they was like, I didn't do anything. But they were like, somebody did something down the street. Somebody got shot, and I fit the description. I was like, what did he look like?
Yeah, for real.
He was like black. He was about your height, and yada yada. I was like, you know how many niggas are black and that are my height? I mean,
In Crenshaw District, what?
And so then when they pulled me out, they had to get out the car, and they took my wallet, and they looked at my ID, but they took the money out the wallet. But they left me. They took 100, but they left at 4, and I was like, yo, like, what do I do? But then as they were doing that, I had pills in the car. But it was just like, it was just like ibuprofen and Tylenol, because I would get Tylenol in my car to get headaches. And they dumped all my pills out and all that shit. And this dude was like, bro, where the fuck are you at? We can't get inside the house. I was just like, bro, I got pulled over, and they stole some money from me. And when I finally got there, I explained it to them, that was it. But that's not, that wasn't too abnormal for me, like that. Social media has definitely made it more of a big deal what the cops are doing to niggas, but I've been doing that my whole life. Like, right. I'm not surprised.
Right.
It has become a normal for me. I fit the description of a lot of murder suspects for the last, am I 33? I've been fitting a murder suspect for the last 15 years.
Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy. Me and Mr. was just talking about that. Like, when they had pulled us out of his house one time and they had the guns drawn on us before we even opened the door. And me and Mr., we were just kind of like laughing it off. And yeah, we complied or whatnot, but it didn't hit us as if anything crazy had happened because we've been conditioned to feel like, well, the cops are going to fuck with us. They're going to fuck with our kids. They're gonna do what they do. But that shit is ridiculous and it got to change.
Yeah, but like the difference between what the world is recognizing and everybody's protesting about, which I got in my homie Eric's ass about because about what was it 4 or 5 years where everybody on the Black Lives Matter shit.
Yeah.
And my homeboy Eric was like on the whole front about how Black Lives Matter and we going to the White House, and I was confronting him about it. I was like, bro, you're on this wave, but I know you shot at niggas. Like, I know for a fact that you shot a nigga, and he got really big in his chest about it. He's like, well, whatever, but the police taking advantage, and I'm going to support the cause. I was like, you're going to support the cause, but you've been shooting at niggas for effort. So you're no different than the police because you're shooting at niggas for gang tactics. And the police are shooting at niggas just because they're niggas. That doesn't make you a better person. Because you just shot at niggas and you probably killed niggas and you're the same color as me. But you're no better than the police. So I was like, I don't support you supporting the cause. and he didn't like that. He didn't like the fact that I kept phoning him about his gang activity, and I didn't support Black Lives Matter. I didn't support Donald Trump. I didn't support Obama. I'm not that guy. I just never have been. I don't support anything that you're about for the moment because you weren't about it when it was really mattering.
Right.
And so when social media became really big, and I had guns put on me by the police for the last 7 or 8 years, and everybody started to care about it. I didn't support the cause because when things were happening to me in my neighborhood in Los Angeles, California, nobody gave a fuck until niggas got phones. So it's like, now that people are seeing what's really is happening, they're like, oh my God, this is so crazy. Bitch, it's been going on. We've been complaining about the situation that's happening.
It's been in every song. Yeah.
So now that everybody's all rioting and the watch riots are coming back, and I'm in Atlanta and niggas breaking the jewelry store, I really just don't give a fuck because, nigga, y'all just not waking up. Y'all just not ready to go all out and do something. No, y'all niggas just want something because of the cause. You guys want to steal and capitalize off of the things that have been going on, and you want to get rich quick. Nobody is really about the people. Nobody is really about the cause. There's a few niggas that have been about the cause, like the Black Panther Party and a few churches that I know of, have always been about that. But these regular ass niggas, street niggas and drug dealers, they just want to break shit. And they want to loot shit and make money. And at the end of the day, when the National Guard kicks in and they start airing niggas out, it's not going to be a benefit to any of us because we are not going to be able to go to work. We're not going to be able to go buy all the toilet paper and go to Walmart because the National Guard is only going to let 30 people in the store at a time. So,
all right, so I got a question though, cousin.
Go ahead.
Do you think that now that even though because I get your gripe with the people that are changing up and all that stuff, but don't you think that it'll be better for your sons if this continues? Like if people continue to roll with the cause, like because change has to come.
No.
No.
It's not going to be better for our kids. It's not going to be any better because I hate to say it that. To be realistic about it, any empire that has ever tried to dictatorship or keep control of the country has always failed. The Roman Empire, the German Empire, the Mediterranean Empire, every empire that tried to form some type of control over the people has all failed. All failed. There's no more Roman Empire. There's no more. None of these kingdoms where people felt like they wanted to control the country has ever worked. There's always been riots and Great Depressions and robberies for centuries on top of centuries. So the fact that you think that your children's lives are going to be any better anywhere on the planet, it won't be because chaos is not going to make life better until a lot more people fucking die. So life will get better for your children when they're in their late 30s and 40s where everybody has calmed down. So your children and when they become teenagers and they start dating and fucking bitches, the lifestyle that we have created now is not going to be a flourishing lifestyle that you want it to be. Your kids are not going to have peaceful lives and be able to go to their local grocery store without 10 or 12 cops and SWAT teams standing in front of the store when they're going just to buy milk and cereal for their own family. It's not going to be great for your kids.
So you think that it's gonna last that long? Where we're looking at martial law for the next 20 years?
Yeah, 2-3 decades.
How do you feel like the world's going to be when martial law kicks in?
Well, I think martial law never lasts too long because there's a lot of different organizations outside of just Black Lives Matter. There's the NRA.
Well, our country is,
there's
right, and our country is built off money. So
yeah.
Martial law is not going to last so long.
Yeah.
And with that being said, that time, whether it be 3 or 4 months, where we have a bunch of military and SWAT teams at our local grocery stores and mall pavilions, is that, you're asking your own question, is that better for your children?
Well, I think, I don't think right now, but I'm thinking long term. I think that we've done nothing for so long peacefully as African Americans that, sit-ins, all the different things that we've done to at peace, and then they kill your leaders and things like that. Malcolm X, Martin Luther King.
Let me just say this. This is not the first time that you know this. This is what I blow my mind. You know about the watch riots and all those other things that have happened in California.
Right.
This is not the first time that people have risen up. The only difference now is that it's televised.
But the Watch riots was just the ones in Chicago and the ones in Watts, they were just local. Right now we're seeing a nationwide riot.
Right, and you have a mixed cultural of you got a bunch of white people getting pushed over and get their ass beat too because they support us too.
Yeah.
The wokeness of the situation is that we have a more supportive country of our culture. Now,
True.
The issue is it doesn't happen in 3 or 4 months. It takes years of
For sure.
Of people, and we'll have president changes in between there and there.
Right.
Our kids will be a lot older before these things
They see any results, right?
Yeah.
But the fucked up thing about it all is their mindsets have already been tainted by the fact that they got to see me, you, and Deltron as fathers deal with these situations and for what they were. So their mindset is like our kids are already going to be like, fuck the world. Like regardless of how we're raising them to be.
Right. Because it's embedded in us. We pass it down, right?
It's already embedded in your dad. Your dad is already like, man, fuck everybody. And your kids are going to absorb that. And as they get older, they feel like, all right, things are good now, but for how long? And that's because of the wisdom that we've instilled in them. Things were great before 2020 compared to what they are now, if you want to be realistic.
Right.
Things were a lot better. Like, don't get me wrong, we've always been dealing with segregation and racial profiling for years. But now that it's televised, everybody's jumping on our bandwagon. You understand what I'm saying?
And I think that it's a negative thing, but I also think that it's really positive because I've never seen this type of result. Like, I was watching a video earlier where the New York police officers ran through a barricade full of white people. And usually it's us on the end of that stick.
Right. Or
getting
like
shot
County.
with water hose. Yeah, or Orange County.
You gotta keep in mind that the white people have always been very vocal about things that they can see on TV. So all the segregation and things that we've been dealing for like at least 20 or 30 years, they didn't know about because TV didn't expose them to it. Now that everybody has a phone and internet, they are exposed about it. So if you look at the white people and what they do, when we were blowing up Afghanistan and Syria and all these other countries, they were protesting about that shit. White people love in America to fight for something that they feel is not great or right. Even though they're living in the greatest country in the world, until they are aware of it, they're not fighting about it.
Yeah, they got to see it to believe it. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
So
when we were dropping bombs over Baghdad, when Outkast made that song when I was a teenager, they didn't know what the fuck that song was about. They thought it was just a good song. You know what I'm saying? Me, you, and Deltron knew that bombs over Baghdad was actually more about what the fuck we were doing to that country. You understand what I'm saying? And now that more people are more socially aware because everybody films everything, they're all on our side. And just because they're all on our side about certain things, I want people to understand that doesn't mean they like us. Because I have a coworker at my job where I sell Honda, and you know how everybody's rioting and looting everything.
Right.
And he's been a very good friend to me for the last 6 months. And I realize now today that he's a racist because what he said was everybody's looting and tearing down everything. All they need to do is, he told me, hey, you ever seen that movie Predator? I was like, yeah, I love that movie. He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know the gallon gun they used in Saw in the movie? It's called a Saw. If the police the store would have been robbed. In his mindset, he's a white man. He believes that because they're committing crimes in America, that they all should kill. And I told him, what about all the Ku Klux Klan members that were going around killing everybody and lynching everybody, throwing every nigga in the street? Do you believe that the military should have came in and brought galley guns and aired all those Klan members out? He doesn't believe that would be justification.
Oh, really?
Because we live in a different era where laws have changed since then, he believes that because these black men and women and white women are committing crimes, he believes that they should be all aired out. And I thought I was good friends with this dude, but I know if the revolution was to hit, he's the first person that I should blow his brains out because he's going to shoot me in the back of the head.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
No. And I appreciate your insight, cousin. We got to let you go because you went deep.
Hey, no, but for real though, real talk though, you went from a place where you weren't afraid to just say exactly how you feel. And it's dope. I think like these perspectives, I don't think people were saying the things that you're saying, Lynn, which people need to hear different variations and perspectives right now. So that's dope, man. That's sick. Thank you for sharing that.
Mister, I just want to end this with you one day time. That's because everybody is supporting us right now. It's only because it's televised. And I think Ice Cube has said that for the longest time ever. People only give a fuck about what's going on to us if they're forced to be aware.
Right.
So that's really all I got to say. Don't think that all these white people protesting with us really give a fuck.
Right.
And I have a lot of white friends. I really do. I have a lot of my friends that I love and care about. Kyle and all those others. But I'm just saying, when the shit really hits the fan, when they're like, hey, all the niggers will be shot, those people that you think have your back and are going to be there for you, motherfucker, you're dreaming. You might have one or two white speckles in that crowd, but when they say, hey, we got to air out all the African Americans that are acting aggressively, they are not going to be there. Then that's just a fact.
Yeah.
That's what the people are. We're not that stupid. If they say, hey, we're going to kill all the light skins, you think they're trying to go out there and protest for the light skins? You think you are? We're not. We're not.
I don't know, man. That's. I think I think that's where we differ. But all right, man. I hit you. Of course, you gonna see this when it come out, man.
All right, Len.
All right, cousin.
Hey, Sam, bro. I'll talk to you soon.
It's crazy. But yeah, so that's.
But you gotta respect some of the perspectives, man.
Yeah.
Like it's a very big bandwagon mentality. But some of them are probably legitimately standing with us. But some of them are clinging on because he's right to an extent. People don't believe it until they see it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And people are not privy to the information because they haven't looked for it. But when it falls in their lap, then they're like, oh, shit.
And now I can go back and research it because we're in the time of Google.
Yeah.
So now, oh, man, this has been going on for how long?
Yeah.
Oh, gee, they have a point.
Yeah.
I've never searched this in my life. So, yeah, I get that. I just feel like, and that's why I asked him, is it going to be better for future generations? Because, yes, it may not be perfect for Aiden or Zaya right now. But maybe their kids have a choice or a chance. Yeah. Because there, like he was saying, there was nice strides. It was better than ever last year for African Americans. But to me, I didn't think so. I felt like we were still being profiled. I felt like we were still being shot. Yeah. It just wasn't being caught on camera. Yeah. I know a few people that have been hit by a bullet by an officer. We're probably doing nothing. And then I see another video later on that day, and it's some guy with a knife running after police officers, and they tase him, and tase him again, and tase him again, and then they come and they tackle the knife out of his hand. But
it's nuts.
What one of the officers was telling me, because I do like the good ones. And what one of them were telling me is that they're always supposed to try to disarm before they use lethal force. But when we do anything that shows them any kind of force, they shoot us.
Yeah. or even if it's non-violent crime. Sometimes it's just, oops, it was an accident. And I feel like, in all honesty, and I'm a tap out here, and you do what you do, let me know. But I feel like, in all honesty, nah, I don't think every cop deserves to have a gun. I think most of them should have stun guns, or they should even actually, if we're talking about really making change, they should be approaching vehicles and cars, especially with non-violent, like pullovers, like general traffic stops or calls, where they should be approaching without any weapons, but stun guns and things that are not lethal. You know what I'm saying? It's time for different things like that, and like weekly or monthly psychiatric evaluations, and that's what I'm for, man. But
I think one of I have two topics I want to touch on. Lastly, is the black forgiveness. I feel that we have always been so forgiving because, like you said, we're very loving individuals. But I think that time is over. You can't continue to do something and
get the same results.
Then get
expect different results.
Well, if it's the definition of insanity is to continue to do the same thing while ruling the same results. If I'm getting the same results every time, I'm doing something. We forgive so much. And I don't clown us for forgiving, but we also act like we forget.
That's the issue.
And the forgiveness.
That's the issue. The issue is forgetting.
Yeah.
That's the main thing.
It's like, and that was what I was saying last week to you. I mean, this week to you. I said, the problem that I have with this is people riot, people jump out, people protest. 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, no one says shit. Yeah. It just gets quiet. There's another hashtag. You go look up the hashtags of all the African American people that died. It dies off after 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, it's trend. That's almost what Lynn was saying.
Yeah,
it's trendy.
It's trendy.
We don't want the trendy. We want like those who's going to stay committed and consistent with it. And it's okay to forget. I'm not saying right now. In the past, there's been times when it's okay to forgive when justice has been properly served, but don't then forget. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. I agree. And then
I also seen him, hop on the black on black crime, and I'm so over this conversation because I feel like
I knew he was gonna go in on that.
Yeah, I just feel like every single person, and I said I wouldn't touch on it because I don't feel that people understand that it's a geological thing. If I live in a certain neighborhood and I want to murder someone, most likely it's going to be someone in that neighborhood because they're close. If I'm going to rob someone because I'm hungry, it's going to be somebody in that neighborhood. It's
a ratio thing.
Yeah. If I'm from the slums and I don't have shit, it's a higher probability that I'm going to do some murder shit or I'm going to rob someone or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it's ever cool for anyone to kill anyone. Because I don't feel that the psychological process that we go through every day when you grow up in a bad neighborhood is taken into account with anything that we do. So I never condone anyone killing, and I'm not telling anyone out there that it's okay for you to kill someone and then be against a white person killing your race or anybody else killing your race. What I'm saying is, you have a fucking job to do as an officer of the law. Your only job is to protect and serve. Yeah. So if you are doing the same shit that criminals are doing, all I'm saying to you is that you also need to be fucking thrown to the law.
Yeah. Treated just like the criminals.
If I kill Tyrone, I'm getting 40 years, 80 years, 120 years. I know people in the pen right now that's doing 2 life sentences for killing someone.
And especially if they're officers, they should be held to a higher standard.
Because if we kill them, we get life automatically. I feel if they wrongfully kill someone else, they should get life automatically. And that's just my personal feeling.
Right.
So, kill it with the black on black stuff. Because there's no such thing as white on white crime. There's no such thing as Asian on Asian crime. There's no such thing as Mexican on Mexican crime. You've never heard that. You only hear black on black crime, and if you look back in the history book, it was with the war on drugs. And that's all I have to say about it. Just do your research, please.
Due diligence.
And that's all you got to do. If you do your research, I see black people doing it, and I'm like, all you're doing is giving other people ammunition to attack what the real cause is. If we're fighting for police brutality, That is the
That's
apple.
the focus. Yeah, keep it on that. Right.
Exactly. The oranges is but black on black crime.
Yeah,
It's just it bothers me.
Yeah,
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they shouldn't even be in the same basket.
Exactly. And I come from a family of violence. I come from that background. I have brothers that's been in jail for murder. Like I don't condone it. But what I'm telling you is that in our neighborhoods that we grow up, and I was happy and I guess blessed enough to make it out of those situations, there was a lot of police brutality. There was a lot of them beating up us.
Yeah.
Throwing us in wrong neighborhoods so we can get killed by your supposed black on black crimes. Breaking in our houses, tanks, rolling up, smashing open our walls, running in our houses because they think drugs are in there. And we couldn't get through the door fast enough, so we have to drive a tank through your house. Like, those are things that I'm talking about. It's just
reality,
it's the over and over. It's just like they always talk about racism. And no one really understands what's going on because no one ever digs into the actual meat of it. So, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's all I have to say about black on black crime.
Yeah. and I'm glad you did that. You bodied that. And I think people are missing the point. This is not a race thing. This is not a racism thing. This is a judicial system thing. This is a systems thing. What you're saying is, let's be fair. If he goes out and does this crime, and then if he goes out and do the same crime, who cares if he has a badge? The judicial system should treat them the same way because they did the same act. And I'm with that. I'm all for it. So,
and that's all I'm saying. And also, I was going to go over, because my mind was like going crazy today about why it was so great for the NRA and why they always win. It doesn't matter what they do. They're always going to win. They win on every front whenever they go against big government. Doesn't matter if it's left or right. And then I was doing some research, and in 2017, they basically, 2016, in the election year, they basically gave money to both sides. And whoever won owed them a favor.
Yeah, they solidified that,
So that's why they're always going to win. And it's like, maybe we can take some of those practices as African Americans, people with big money, and put money into lobbyists. I know that like a lot of like famous people are talking about, hey, vote for the people that you want, things like that. But yeah, you can vote for who you want in office, but that doesn't mean that their behind the scenes dealings won't come to the forefront when they're elected.
Yeah.
And their behind the scenes dealing has something to do with a lot of green.
A lot of green, man. Green is red, white, and blue.
Yeah, it doesn't really have a color. It's a classist society where your class matters the most over anything else.
Yeah.
So we don't sit here and just talk about racism. Of course, our race being black and us going through the certain things, especially us being poverty-stricken growing up.
Yeah.
There was a world that we didn't have access to. But now that we see people get money and things like that, you can actually make a difference by just opening up your checkbook. I love how Killer Mike always says, like, you have to fight. You have to be able to process things and then absolutely have a direction when you're implementing your point of attack. And he says never attack with like
just straight
fists
emotional
and stuff like that.
or just running off the deep just jumping off the handle process.
Exactly, going off the handlebars, because we are creatures of acting off instinct, because that's the way to survive when you're in bad neighborhoods. Your instinct is everything. If you don't have an instinct, you're dead.
That's right.
And all of us being here now, way after 21, and then way after 25, you get to actually get those ideologies that you didn't have before because someone else was thinking for you, or someone else was telling you what to do, and someone else was feeding you some type of lie that made you act out in a certain way that maybe wasn't.
Yeah, you're like, no, I'm older now, I'm wiser now. It's not like that. I actually take it. If I just read, because I did my own research and due diligence, actually, I'm going to take this direction. And then, absolutely.
So, that, I feel like we did a justice. I feel like Lynn did a great justice, because a lot of people needed to hear it from that point of view. And,
what do you say? What do you say? What's your saying? Where you say you don't hold back? It's being transparent. You got a saying. You said, No eggs, no. What do you say?
Oh, no fake eggs.
No fake eggs. Here you
no
go.
fake eggs. All out truth. Because, you know, if we don't have that, I'm sitting here and I'm just lying to myself, and I refuse to do that any longer in my life. Period. So no fake eggs, and you got anything else?
No, that's it, man. I'm with you.
All right. Well, we got to get out of here and raise these kids.
Night.